Okay. I may need to go louder, possibly. Let's see. Is that better? Yeah, I'm getting a few more greens. Let's see if this goes. Yeah. All right. All right. Um, I believe that's everything. Probably need to crank a little bit more. I'm using a different microphone this go round, so the sensitivity and the range is completely different from what I'm used to. So, oh, I'm clipping. Trying to find a sweet spot with this bad boy. Okay, on Tuber, I'd been talking about an incident where lives, there really hadn't been a reason. Just it has not happened. Um, so they come back and just aggressive right out the gate, just complete and total aggression. And when I tried to speak or to respond and do the whole, where have you been? How are you? Like there was no chance of that. So I just said, well, say what you got to say. They completely unload baggage from, say, the years from 2011 to 2014. Um, and now, granted, you got to remember we're in 2020, and we've spoken before this, and all these things have come up before. So it's nothing new, and which is funny. So anyway, they lay into me, and after they lay into me, they end all the hurtful things with how I'm such a pure soul and I'm a great person and I'm this and I'm that and I'm all these amazing things. Now, usually, because of who this individual is, and because, yeah, I know I look plain, I'm plain today, just everybody deal with it. Usually, when this person jumps back in to my life, I instantly drop everything and, I'm gone. Um, and it's because of a false, in my opinion, it's a false memory that I have of that individual. Now, what does this have to do with being manic depressive, bipolar, things of that nature? Someone who is manic depressive, going from bipolar 1, bipolar 2, cyclothymia, all the variations that can go on, depression, anxiety, all these things, we come with a certain group of caveats that people don't know about and they don't want to know about. And we, on our own, we can take those things and we can multiply a situation from being what it is to something that does not exist. And going online, looking, just one website popped up, and it was about manic depressives and relationships. And of course, they go through the standard beginning intro spiel of divorce rate right now is currently 33% within the first 10 years. So, it starts off with the basics. Then it says among bipolar people, the rate is as high as 90%, according to Psychology Today, which is normally usually a reputable source. Now, they did do a piece on Tony Robbins, who I totally hate. So, and maybe it was just that journalist that I have something against. But it says statistics alone is enough to frighten people who suffer with bipolar disorder. So those with bipolar disorder and they recognize what they have, they know certain things are going to happen. Now, take away the ability or take away the fact that they know. So they're ignorant. They have no idea that they're bipolar. They have no idea that they're, in any of the manic depressive categories. None whatsoever. And they run off get into a relationship and parts of the manic depressive start to show, which they are. When you get into a relationship and you begin living with someone, that side of you is going to come out. Okay. So on the same site, they listed bipolar symptoms in a relationship. Okay. So these are six things. Well, six, seven, well, seven, I'd say seven in total. Seven things that can happen within a relationship with a person who's bipolar, or if you are bipolar, these are things that you're going to do. When I read this list, it was exactly verbatim me many years ago. You know, I notice these things now, but the bipolar symptoms in relationships: number one, mania and hypomania. We've talked about that. Number two, hypersexuality. There's moments where you just nothing can satisfy. You are just, just going, on all engines, And then of course it'll go away. And of course it confuses the person that you're with because you've just been you just been going at it, as they say. And then all of a sudden it drops off. All of a sudden it's not there anymore. So it will cause the person to retreat, the other person in the relationship to retreat back and think, it's me. It's my fault. It's something I did. No matter how many times someone like me, a bipolar, says, no, no, it's not you. It's something to do with me. I don't know. Now, remember, I'm looking at this in the aspect of someone who doesn't know because I've been there and trying to explain why you aren't sexually interested anymore when you were just couldn't keep your hands off to begin with. Oh my god, that is such a chore. Like, you have no idea how hard it is to convince people that look, it has nothing to do with you, man. I promise. I promise you're fine. It's, something going on with me. Below hypersexuality, number three is spending sprees. Looking for that instant gratification. Being bipolar 1, bipolar 2, any of those things, you reach moments where you feel like you need validity, you need validation. And when your significant other is not around in order to get validity and validation, this is just, again, from my point of view, you'll go off and you'll try to find things that'll make you happy. Or you'll think to yourself, oh, if I get this and I accomplish this and I get this done, it'll make them happy. So you go out and you spend almost everything that you have. Number four, irritability. As a bipolar, we burn through our chemicals in our brain, the oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. We grind that shit out. I mean, we just freaking pound it. At the same time, after you burn all that, you're not a happy person. You don't want people around. You don't want to talk to anybody. Don't touch me. Leave me. Just leave me alone. And explaining to someone who does not have a manic depressive disorder, explaining to them that it's not them, yet again, refer back to hypersexuality. It's not them, it's you. It's hard for them to understand. They can't get on the schedule because there is no schedule. Your brain is just, and there is no schedule. It's random. Number five, depression. That's going to be around, if not daily, every other day. If you do have a good section, a good week, it's going to come after. It's going to be there. And then of course your partner, I don't understand. You were so happy yesterday. I'm sure many people have heard that. But just a few minutes ago you were fine. Those types of things. Again, there's no way to get on our schedule. You can't. Not when we don't know that we're bipolar or that we're bipolar 2 or that we have hypomania, any of those. You're not going to know which bipolar 2 is hypomania. You are not going to get on that schedule. It's already an imbalance for us and it's hard for us. Nobody is going to get on that schedule. Now, I mean, I guess if you dated someone else who's bipolar, but even then, it's not going to sync up. We don't sync with people. Like me and another bipolar 2 are not going to have, we're not going to be able to be roommates because, our mental illness is going to sync up. That's not how it works. We're completely different individuals and everybody's just on a roller coaster. We're on a roller coaster without seatbelts. Is the best way to put it. The number 6 lists 2 things, and this is part of my issue in that relationship I was in: disability and addiction. Okay, let me explain both of these. I have been injured since 2003. I did nothing about my injuries until 2007. Even then, I did not have corrective surgeries. I did not have anything that really helped. It was just every day I was in pain. So now compound numbers 1 through 5 with just having a disability, being in pain all the time, can't find any aspect of relief. Eventually, I lead off into addiction, disability with addiction with bipolar, disability, addiction. I got 3 things just punching me in the face over and over and over. How is anyone going to make any sense out of that? If you yourself are bipolar and you're in a relationship and you notice there's these specific things that are wrong and you can't explain to anyone, of course, in America, it's hard to get medical treatment, especially mental health. It's hard for people to get diagnosed and then say, oh, okay, so that's the problem. Let's find a way to work with it. That barely happens. Usually relationships crumble, or during the relationship, discourse is sown from I guess, the normal individual and the bipolar individual clashing because one can't understand the other. Now, people will throw up terminologies of we couldn't get along because of our lifestyle. We couldn't get along because of they were too angry all the time. We couldn't get along because but really, when someone has bipolar disorder, 1 or 2, and remember, bipolar 1, the mania can be higher. It can be more extreme than bipolar 2. So usually the relationships just crumble. It falls apart, even though people may have loved each other. They were the best thing in the world for each other. Like in the at the core, everybody was good for each other. It was just this one bit of understanding. It will cause it to crumble, cause everything to just fall to shit. So, with that said, we're going to go back to my story. That was what was happening in 2011 to 2014. In 2014, I attempted to kill myself after that relationship because I felt that I wasn't understood and I felt deeply that we really did connect uh, on the basic level. Now, I'm not saying um, at that time, like I knew I was going to, be with them for the rest of my life, this, that, and the other. Nothing like that. But it was a connection that was deeper than what I'd had before. And after so many years, when you're bipolar, time is a little bit different. Like right now, I feel like I'm pushing into my 60s. I mean, honestly. Um, and that's just my own thing. I mean, real age. I'm in my 30s, going to 40s eventually. But I feel like, I'm 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 over the hill. But oh, here we go. Memory thing. Um, but yeah, so and after I did that, I got quiet. I didn't talk to people. I did not speak with anybody except for a doctor that I knew who was trying to help me come out of the suicide attempt. It was using a medication. I'm not going to say the medication because I don't want anybody getting any ideas. Um, but it messed me up for about a month. It was a very weird, foggy month. And after that, I decided to leave, and I did. I left. I moved off to a different state. I had a part-time job. I was doing great. Everything was cool. And eventually, the thing with the VA that I think I had mentioned, where they had taken money from me, I ended up going through a bankruptcy because of them being stupid. I had to come back. Now, that was 2016 when that happened. I have not talked to this person since, well, 2016, 17. In 2018, I sent a message explaining that I was sorry and explaining how, if they ever needed a friend, I would always be a friend. Left it at that. Just left it at that, you know. So 18, 19, 20. So 2 years later, I'm minding my own business, not doing a damn thing in the world. Actually, I think I was sitting here. I was going through some voiceover stuff. I was getting my gear reorganized, resituated because I've got to leave again next week. And I get this like bombardment of messages. And of course, they're not meant for me to talk. And she brings up all these things that happened that were because of numbers 1 through 6 on the bipolar symptoms in relationships. Number one, mania or hypomania, hypersexuality, spending sprees, irritability, depression, disability, and addiction. All of those things happened in our relationship. And of just about every problem that she listed came from that area. Now, I could have said something, and I guess any normal person would, but I decided not to react. I said, well, it sounds like you got something to get off your chest. Here we are. Do it. Just lay it on me. After all that gets done, it then reverts down to me being a pure soul and worth knowing and all these other things. And the other crazy thing is this person works in the medical field. So um you would kind of think it'd be easy to put two and two together as far as manic depressive and what was going on within our relationship and with how I'm acting now, because of course I'm just letting her speak. I apologize to everything that is thrown out on me. Nothing about her comes up. Absolutely nothing. It's all about me per usual. And at the very end, she starts again with the nice talk. And then she just wants to go to just normal speaking. And she wanted to add me on Facebook. And my brain said, no, wait. And I told her in a nice way, I said, I'm not at that spot yet. I'm not ready to bring you in to my life where I'm at right now in this point. Now, remember, I've been on these medications since November 8th, and I have been steadily getting better. Not just in here, but externally as well. I've got many things going on. I have tuber going on. I'm doing this thing on YouTube. I've got the stuff with the band. Oh, I just got a message that I may be going to Queens, New York, to help with some stuff. Um, there's a lot of good things that are going on right now, and all of a sudden, this dart just kind of comes flying out of nowhere, and I just backed off, and I said, "No, we'll stick to IG where we were talking." And they said, "Oh, well, I don't get on IG that much." And I said, "Yeah, neither do I." and that and hopefully my point was received. I don't know if it was though, because now this happened what guys like 2 days ago. Yesterday they posted on IG, supposedly the platform that they don't get on, that they stay away from the most. All of a sudden they're posting now after they've had a conversation with me. Now, I am not a relationship specialist. I'm not a specialist in shit. So, number one, take this for entertainment, I guess, if you want. But from my perspective, that means they still have something for me. Now, I mourned them when we broke up. That's what happens when you love someone. You genuinely mourn them leaving. They're alive, but they've passed, if that makes any sense. I mourned her, and I don't believe that happened on the other end. And to think you can just la la la, come walking right back up. It's like seeing a ghost. It's like, what the like I thought you were oh shit. That's basically what this whole situation is. Hence why I'm not just allowing the floodgates to open. Oh yeah, sure, come on in, just have a seat. I got a new dog. I got cats. I got. You want a drink? Like I'm not doing that. um, so it's funny to me. I thought I was the one living with a ghost. That's what I thought. I thought I was the one living with this individual in the back of my head. I'm starting to think that maybe I don't have a ghost. Maybe I have a stalker. I mean, if if you get what I'm saying, because it's a bit fucked up. And now also thinking of the fact that they are so clueless to even understand that I would have these issues and to come back into my life, beat me like a dog, and then use soothing words as if they're salving, putting a band-aid over the wounds that they've just given. That's narcissistic. I don't go to people and do that. I don't just come flying out of the gate, freaking just, slashing away. And then, once I see them cowering from my words, all of a sudden come in to be their caretaker. So maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not me at all, which is sad. Because, like I said, the person really means a lot to me. But as they say, sometimes the best thing you can say is, goodbye. You know. There we go. Anyway, but yeah, so we don't talk. As much as they want to be friends or whatever the hell it is they're trying to do right now, it's not happening. It can't. I mean, if it hurts this much to go through all this, just, explaining all this stuff down, it's going to hurt too much just to be friends. Now, somebody on Tuber had asked about the trauma from relationships that they've experienced. How do you get over those traumas? As far as I can tell, you don't. You learn to cope with them. You learn to accept that that was then. It's not now. That was then. But it affects me now. Yes, it does affect you now. That is true. Do not get me wrong. But it isn't right now. And you have to find your own way in order to get past that, whether it be psychotherapy, psychologists, psychiatrists, a group counseling, whatever your trauma may be from the relationships you were in. Usually there are groups that you can go to. So, um, the trauma that I went through, her family was highly racist and they literally did not care if I wound up dead. I mean, I remember her uncle shooting at me when I would go jogging. So, yeah, I understand. I understand trauma. And those things do play a factor further into life because it gives you the red flags. It gives you the things to look for. And there are false red flags with some people. So I wouldn't say be a hardcore, oh my God, this person looks like or seems like they're just like so and so. But what I'm saying is, now it gives you the caution that you should have had to begin with, in my opinion. Everyone should have a caution to begin with. Just being totally free, everybody's happy, everybody loves each other. That is bullshit. There are genuinely evil people in this world, and most of them are being evil because it makes them money. That's really what it boils down to. That's what capitalism gets you. It gets a lot of illegal markets where people can make a whole lot of money doing bad things behind the scenes with people who are just trying to make it every day. But the trauma will always be there, and it's always going to come back. It's going to pop up. You're going to have flashbacks, images. I'm having them right now. I mean, that's why I'm smoking a cigarette on my live YouTube because you know what? Fuck. All that shit just comes back. But it is not my right now. I have a million great things coming over the horizon. I am just about to crest that hill. And it seems every time I'm about to crest that hill, this one little anchor comes flying up and grabs a hold of me, trying to get me to come back down. Because God forbid I get to that point where I'm no longer touchable. And that's where I'm at right now. And I think it's better if I just tug the anchor and just keep going. So I think for those who mentioned the trauma thing, I think you should do the same. It's a weight that you have. You can get used to it. You can make it lighter. Chip away some of the stuff that really is not that important. You'll realize, well, this isn't worth hanging on to. So eventually it'll go to the back of your mind. Problems that can come up is when the person who caused the trauma can come back. When they come back, then all that weight comes back. So, as I said before, sometimes the best thing to do is just say goodbye. It's done. We had a good run. It was what it was. I'm sorry, things didn't go the way that we wanted it to, but I can't live there anymore. I'm bigger than that house that we were trying to build. I'm on this project over here. So with With being bipolar in relationships, it fucking sucks. Okay, that is the pure and plain downright truth. It fucking sucks. And we, the people who suffer from manic depressive, we need to learn ourselves, I think, learn ourselves in order to be able to be with someone else. Unless you find that one golden nugget who will help you learn yourself while being with you. That would be great. But as we know, people are usually self-centered and they are not, you know. So anyway, that's my TED talk for the day. Um but anyway, I'm going to stop this and shoot the final video thing over to Tuber. Sorry, I didn't use more statistics. This is more of a personal point of view outlook than anything else. I'm pretty sure if you go around and you look up, what was that webpage? Well, I don't have, wait, yeah, there's bipolarvillage.com is where I found the article on bipolar and relationships. So, and also they mentioned Psychology Today. So I'm pretty sure you could go dig around and you can find some information on it. But I'm betting that I'm pretty spot on just with my own little observations. Now, understand, I'm not claiming to be an angel in the situation that I went through. I was not. Again, I had all these factors working against me. I had lack of communication going between. I mean, there were many, many factors causing things to implode. And so, but don't think that I'm a perfect person or that they should understand because I have bipolar disorder. That's an excuse. No, that is not an excuse. It's what I have. It's what I did not know that I had. It was something that was hidden. Nobody could see it. They dealt the best way that they could. But coming to this point in our lives and seeing them as the same person they were many years ago, it's obvious I've grown past all of that. That's what I'm saying. They're them, I'm me. It's just not worth going to. So don't put me on a pedestal. Don't put them on a pedestal. Don't do any of that crap. Okay. That's not the point. All right. The point is when it comes to being in relationships, one person being bipolar, the other one not, there are problems, there are things that are going to arise, and it should be looked at seriously and not blown off. And things can escalate. Keep that in mind. Hopefully, if you are an open minded person and you can be with somebody who has bipolar disorder, bipolar 1 or 2, or cyclothymia, whichever unipolar, whichever one they have, good on you. You're a angel because we can be hell whenever we don't have the medication going or when we haven't found the right mix yet. We can be a complete pain in the ass. I promise. So, anyway, thank you for listening, showing up. I'm signing out.